Hey everyone, sorry I'm just sharing the link for this. Hi everyone, so welcome back to my PG admin. And over the weekend can everyone hear me fine, by the way? I hope everyone can hear me fine. But over the weekend I had a bit of an epiphany of how to do this and how to make it actually work in the way that I was meant to make it work. And so we're going to do that today. So one of the things that I realised that I was doing was that I was trying to be clever and input years like all together, so from 2010 to 2012, whereas actually like the homework only said that we needed to do it year by year by year. So so what that meant was that what I was trying to do was I was trying to aggregate like everything, and then after I'd aggregated everything I then calculated the ratings further on, whereas actually I could simplify this a whole lot. So this might seem a bit unorthodox and people might cry a little bit, but I deleted the entire thing and started again. So I just recreated the table for actors, and I also decided that because I could do the aggregation before, I didn't actually need this year here. So if we go back to the GitHub, we go to the instructions for the homework, you'll see here that in the films, there wasn't any mention of actually needing the year in there, so I removed that completely again. And so I'm just gonna run these commands again to drop this. And great. And then I'm gonna comment that out again. I'm not recreating this because this was fine. I'm going to recreate the actors table, recreate, and then start again fresh on the cumulative table. So the first thing that I needed to do was get the last year's results from the actors table. So with last year as, and then select start from actors where, and then current year equals, and we're just going to say last year was 2000 and just a 2000 for now. And then from that I then did with this year as from actors films where year equals 2001. And then from that I then did an aggregation. So I wanted to get the ratings initially, so I did this so I just did select actor ID. Well, actually I did actor first, and then I realised actually like you could have, after doing some different testing, so on different years, so I tested from 2001 to 2010, and in 2005 to 2006 there was an actress with the exact same name as each other, but they had different actor IDs, so I changed my query to be actor ID rather than actor. And then I also did average rating which was this thing here, and then we do the from this year, and then we also do a group by actor ID. And so even just by doing this, you don't need the with there. Even just by doing this, I'm misspelling stuff now. That gives you the average rating for that year, which was something that was quite difficult, like in the other way of doing it. But it was really, really simple to do it this way. So I then changed this to be ratings as here. And then I did the next select, which was select. And then we started coalescing. So I can't spell the word coalesce, I'm really bad at that. I'm just going to do join from. So another thing that I did was when I got to this point, I joined this year as this year, outer join last year as li. And I'm just going to do that now to show you what actually happened when I did this. So I did last year dot current year actor ID, this year dot actor ID. And as someone who hasn't commonly used like Postgres directly, one of the things that I didn't actually realise was it's better to use coalesce rather than distinct, because coalesce is used when maybe one value is null but the other one isn't, or if they're the same then it joins them together, but if one's null and the other one isn't, then it'll use the value that's not null. So you in this scenario, using coalesce is the right option. And this is where like it gets a little bit interesting, because let me just refresh this. Current year. But you can already see like even just by doing this query is way shorter than it was at the beginning. So it's a lot cleaner in my opinion doing it this way. So then I ended up initially I ended up doing this statement here. So I did case, and then if when TUI dot films is null, then when TUI dot films when it's not that. It's array row, and then it was what is it? The film struct is of that type, and then you've got ty dot film ty dot what's the other one? Rating. Sorry, I'm just going to write this really quickly, but I'm going to show you why this isn't going to this isn't the right approach in a minute. Film ID. Else, and then you can do like a LI films, and then OR is. This reads to me like an OR statement, but it's not, it's a concatenate, so it concatenates, it aggregates the films from like the two arrays together basically. So, which is very confusing, but that's what it does. There's someone who, and then this is films. It's definitely films. And then, yeah. Okay, I'm just putting there, and then. And then I then did an outer join on the rating. Ratings as are. And then I did a case on this. So I said if the rating exists, then use that. If not, use the previous rating. So when our dot rating is null, then rating else our dot rating. And then that is the quality class. It's actually quality class. And then similarly you can do like an is active. So case when ty dot ty, is it ty is null? Ty dot is active is null, then ly dot is active. Actually, I don't think there isn't is active on this thing. I think it's just if ly is null. Ty is active is null, then ly is active else ty dot then false else true. And as is active, and that was all I did. So that is pretty much all I did initially, and then let me make sure that runs correctly. I've not got anything else there, have I? ty.film. Have I got the arrow? Have I got the way of specifying an arrow? Okay, it's just because this is meant to be a thing like that rather than in curly braces. Still figuring out the syntax, but and I do not need. Do I not need the as films? Okay, I don't need the films there. Cool. Yeah, and then that was on actor on ly.actorID equals ty.actorID, and then on here it was on ty.actorID equals r.actorID. And these are a full outer join, not just outer join. You can see that I'm still getting to grips with the syntax here, but that is pretty much what it is. Yeah, when ty.film is now. I'm going to call this average rating as well, just because I think that makes it a little bit more explicit on what that is. But that is what this is going for, and then okay, yeah. So because this average rating here is not actually the quality class, we need to cast it to the quality class. So this is then case when r dot average rating is greater than 8, then star. When r dot average rating is greater than 7, then I can't spell star, then good. When r dot average rating is greater than 6, then what's the next one? Average rating. No, the last one is just else bad, and then we end, and that is a quality class as well. So that's what I did, and I also added a group by actor ID at the end, just so I could test this. Group by ty.actor ID. I was feeling the group by cause. I don't want to do that. No, I didn't actually do that here. I remember now. I searched on. So, as you can see here, like when this returned back, it had 4 options for Charlton. This isn't what I wanted. I wanted to have an aggregate of results. So what I realised quickly is actually what I could do is, rather than like doing 2 outer joins here, I only needed the one, so I could remove the reference to this year and just use ratings directly. But what I could do in ratings is I could create an aggregate of the films as well. So what I did here was I then changed this to film and ratings, and then in here I then did an array aggregate of like the films for that year. So I then did array aggregate of the films for that year, rather than like doing it later on here, because then I could just do it in one place. So I did row, and then I'm just going to copy this bit here, because that's pretty much the same thing that I did. And then I just call that as current films, so that like that we would know what that is. And then same with that. So we have actor ID, current films, and average rating, but we also need the actor. If we're not going to be using this here, we also need the actor ID, the actor, and we also need the year as well. And then because of that, you also need to do a group by as well. So you need to do actor and year if you want to have those things in there. So I did that, and then in here I was able to remove this, and then I was just able. The first thing that I did was I removed this here, and I changed this to film. I'm going to change this here. Film and ratings. So I just called this year film and ratings here, instead of having the second outer join. And that just meant that I could then also remove a lot of complexities there as well. So in here, instead of having the average rating, I now have TY. So and then in here where we have the films, we then do like check on whether or not like the current year is null or not. So you can do so just say when the current year is null, like when I can't speak right now. When current year is null, then this year dot current films, which is what I had up there, and then when ty dot year is null, then ly dot films, films, else you can then you would do an aggregate of the two, so ly dot films aggregate ty dot current films, line 40. And that's just because I copied this over earlier and I didn't make it short TY. So that's all I did, and then I got this much smaller query than where I was at before, and a lot more concise, and it works for for every year. So you can see, like, if I like insert now this query into the database, then it inserts every year. So I'll just do a couple of years. I'm just seeing if anyone's talking. Petru, hi Jade, I want to refresh my SQL skills. Do you think this course you're doing could be a good choice? I found it really, really helpful. Like, I haven't touched SQL in a while, and even just by doing it for a few days, I'm like, okay, yep, that's what you need to do for that. That's what you need to do for that. So I've personally found it quite useful, but it's, I'd say, not necessarily tailored for learning SQL. It's more like expected to know it a little bit, I guess. Like, I've had to like research what the commands that I needed to use were and stuff. Insert into characters. And then that's the correct film. And then if I do 2002 and 2001, 2002, 2003, 2003, 2004, 2004, 2005, 2005, 2006. And then we just do select from where current year equals 2006. What is it? It's just been a bit weird. I'm just not selecting star. And you can see here, for example, that the aggregation has worked correctly. All of the movies that they've got have been added for them. And if I select star from actors, actor films, where actor equals Lee, you can see for you can kind of see that all those movies there were ones that Lee had in what were included in the aggregate. So yeah, and I submitted this as this was, so you can kind of see the thought process there of, okay, well, I can make it better by aggregating the rating before, and I can then like do 2 outer joins, and then I'm like, actually no, I don't need to do 2 outer joins, and then slowly condensing it until you get a nice a nice small query, which I was very happy with. So this is my query, inserting into actors. I've got last year, this year film and ratings. In my this year film and ratings, I then aggregate the this year's films and rows together. I get the average rating for this year as well, and then I do a join from this to last year's one, and then I determine whether or not they are active this year or not. So you determine that by whether or not they've released a film this year, and if they haven't released a film, then they're not active. And yeah, that is what I did. And I got an A. So this was just for number 2 of the homework, and then once we got to number 2, we're then into number 3, which is creating a. Let me make this. This here. So we want an actor's history table to basically store the history of when a actor was either their ratings changed or their is active state changed. So rather than storing for every year, you only create a row when they've changed from the previous year. So one of the things I found really frustrating about just this lab in general is this concept of start date and end date, because to me a start date is a date. It's not a year, it's a date. So I kept putting in year instead of date, and then I initially got an A- because I'd put start year instead of start date, and then end year as an end date. No, end date. Yeah, end year instead of end date. And then as soon as I changed them to end date, I got it correct and got my A. So, hi Zach. So yeah, on the creating the actors history table, we basically, if you did the labs, it was very, very similar to doing that. Rather than having a scoring class, you had a ratings class instead. So that was pretty much the biggest change that I noticed to be on there. So other than that, there wasn't anything else. And the fact that you created an actor ID instead of the player's ID as well. So those are the main things that I did differently. So that was just to create table actors history SCD. Yeah, so this is what really got me, because I kept putting, because this is current year, and then it started, and I'm like, why? And then the LLM told me off for it, so I was like, that's fine, I'll remove it, I'll change it back. I've not deleted that table yet, so I'm just going to drop table. I'm just going to drink some of my drink. I'm sorry if that you could hear that. I don't know, I get really bad ick when I hear people drink, so sorry. So that's pretty much the table done. So that was like number 3 done. 3 and then yeah, that was pretty straightforward, that one. And then we move on to number 4, which is the backfill query for the table. So this is like basically creating a query that's going to generate the entirety of the tables for the last however many changes over the last however many years. So just say an actor has been active in 2000 and in 2000 all the way up into 2005. You kind of get a start year and an end year, a start date and an end date for those years. So your start would be 2000 and then your end would be 2005, and then like just say they were then inactive for another 2 years, you would then have like from 2006 to 2008 that they were inactive. 2007 probably, can't count. And then that's basically what you would be doing. So this is the I very much watched the labs for this. This was really, really useful. I found that the labs really, really helped this, but they pretty much give you a really good starting point for how to get this done for the actual like homework. So literally, like for me, like the labs for the second exercises were really, really useful. So for me, the first thing in that Zach does in the labs is that he basically builds the like is previous. So what we're doing is we're getting the previous values of the quality class and whether the is active. So this is so that you can then do a comparison of that quality class and it is active with the current year. So in the previous one, he's saying, okay, with previous as, and then select. And then we select our actor ID. We select our current year. We select our quality class. We select our is active. And as well as that, we select the previous values for those, so that we can get the comparison between the current so we can get the comparison between the current state and the previous state. So the way that Zach does that in the labs is he does this thing called lag, which basically if you do some sort of like group by or ordering it, or like any sort of like row, you have a list of rows, it'll get the previous value that you've chosen. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then you can do like a partition by the actor ID and order by, which then allows you to get that previous quality class. So one thing I am going to do is, one thing that I think is really, really useful when doing this is just doing the queries individually, just so that we can see what they are. And I'm just going to make this bigger as well. If you've noticed as well that I tried to make my little picture as small as I could, because I've had a few people just say like, you know, I've not been able to see the code as well. So I've tried to make it as small as I can so that people can see better. I hope that's actually like made a difference. So and then we we literally just do the same for the is active. And then we do from actors, so we're using the actors class to populate this, where is this equals 2021. So as you can see, like for each year, it's basically giving you a comparison between like the previous year and now. So you can see like you've got like 2000 and for 2003 you've got good and true, but like there wasn't any previous quality class, so there's nothing there. And then you've got like good and true again, and then good and true, and then you've got average and true, and then good and true. So that you can see here, for example, that these are different, and so what you want to be doing in the next query, when you start like comparing them, is saying, okay, well, when are these different? So this is the like just getting the differences, and then you need to do that comparison to determine which ones are actually different. And now we've got this with previous, so this is the previous results, and this is then, okay, well, we need to indicate when these things change. So when something's changed, we can then create an indicator that's going to say when something's changed. So again, I'm going to just do the select statement for this, and then we're going to see what that returns before actually then, actually creating another CTE. And so all we're doing here is we're doing a comparison of, does this equal or like not equal the previous one? And then if still one, else 0. And because basically what we're saying is, if the quality class does not equal the previous quality class, then it is true that it's changed. When is active does not equal previous is active, then it's also true that something has changed. However, if neither of those have changed, then we can say it's 0 and it's not true. So then we can then say that that's not the case. And in Zach's thing, he also calls this a change indicator, so I just called it a change indicator as well. And then from that, we are doing this from the previous query, so this is from the with previous query. So as you can see, like the change indicator is saying 0 here. This is just because this is an also like this is like you only really are comparing it when they're like if it's the previous value is null, then it was never like actually set. So you wouldn't say like it's actually changed. Whereas like here, for example, this has changed because it's gone from good to average. And then from this one here, it's gone from is active. It's gone from not is active to not is active. So that's when you start doing those comparisons of when they're actually like different to each other. So similarly to what Zach did in his post, I call this with indicators again. I just thought, like, you know, I'm not one of those people who like to like create differences just to try and be edgy. I think if someone's given a good name to something, then just leave it. And then again, he then wants to create a streak to figure out how long it's been between one year to the other year. So you're figuring out, okay, how long has this actor actually like been active, or how long has this actor like been kept the same rating. Also, like, it'd be great if this has been actually useful. Like, this is just get on with the lectures, Jade. I want to watch the lectures with you. Or if you just want to like do something different, just let me know. Like, and I could just be talking complete like bull poopy right now, but yeah. I also I don't know if anyone was watching. Sorry, I've got like I don't know if anyone knows, but I'm getting tested for ADHD, and one of the things that happens is that I have like loads of things going wrong. So I don't know if anyone knows, but on Friday I played some copyright music on my YouTube. I played Linkin Park because I'd finally got it working, and I was very, very happy. And then on Saturday, YouTube basically kicked me out of everything. And it made out like I'd been doing suspicious activity on my account, and so that wasn't good. So I'm just identifying the streets now. So I'm just writing, again, this is a very similar like query to what Zach did. The biggest difference was just partitioning it by actor ID instead of the player ID, and then ordering by the current year. And then so again, let's run this query again. I'm going to change that. So you can see here, this person just keeps changing a lot. They don't know what they want to do. So every time there's a 1, we just like figure out like that's another streak that's happened to them. So every time like they change something, we know that that's a year that we need to basically figure out like what the difference is between that year and the next year. So yeah, that person can't make up their mind. Is there any ones that have I'm just curious. Order by descending as, what should I call that? I'm just trying to figure out like identifier. That's what I'm just curious. Like if I order by descending, like what Is that the right way to do it? What's the right way? What is it? Is it fully descending? Is it ROI descending? Am I just doing it? Yeah, cool. Okay, so someone has ROI actor ID and show code identifier descending. I wanted to see which person has the worst one, but I don't think that's gonna work. But you have some that have like 5, so yeah, they've got a lot of changes. Yeah, they just changed every year. Right, I don't need that, but that's just something that's interesting. And then so this is now you know all the streaks that you need. And basically then what you're going to do is once you like figure out what your different streaks are, you can then group by those streaks. Right. And from that we can then build up our query basically. I'm going to say 2024 because 2024 is the current year. But honestly, like, don't you think this is confusing? Like, start date, current year. Come on, Zach. So here's the commas. And so this, I found it quite awkward to like just debug this and make sure that it was right. So I ended up doing an order by just to verify that it was in the order that I wanted it to be. So I also did an order by and start date just to verify that like it was doing it in the right order that I wanted to. So you can then see like we are then grouping by the you can see that it's actually like been able to identify like the actor ID, the is active, the quality class, the current year, the start date and the end date. And then like because I've ordered it by start date, you can see that it goes up. So like for actor ID with this ID, you can see that, you know, they were true and good from 2003 to 2003. They were something incorrect. I need to debug the end date there, because that shouldn't have happened. Ah, right, okay. That's because I put min year for both. I was wondering why isn't it giving me the right answers there? This is why it's important to debug things and make sure that you're getting the right answer. Okay, that looks a lot better now. So we've got 2003 to 2004, they were true and good. Then they moved from true to average from 2005. And then they in 2006 they were false and average. So you can see that they've changed those years. And then for 08, we've got true and average, and then it changed to false to not being active. And then let me find some with a lot of changes. Yeah, so this person changed from 2002 to 2002, just they were true and good. And then false and good to 2003 to 2005, and then they were true and good from 2006 to 2006. So that's all working as I'm correcting. So I am currently using PG Admin for my setup. So if you wanted to use the same thing, I have like a little Docker Compose file here that uses PG Admin, but it's on my GitHub. So if you want to use it, feel free to take it. But okay, that's working as I anticipated. And so then that insert, you can just do an insert into this table here. And you can see it inserted successfully, which is fantastic. And so that was the full backfill. But then we also needed to figure out how to do an incremental backfill. So that was the next thing to do. Just going to finish drinking my drink. Has anyone found this actually useful, by the way? Because I don't know if I'm just talking into the void at this point. Right. Sorry, I'm just drinking, and then I've literally let my entire cup of tea go cold. So it's a sad day. Okay, so the first thing that Zach did for his incremental query was that he created a actors SCD type, so that we just were storing things like the quality class, the is active, the start date, and the end date. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do. This is where I got my my A minus from, because I put start here, not in this bit, but in my select. Okay, so just going to make sure we create from the beginning again. Okay, cool. One thing, which is my worst enemy, is putting semicolons. I always forget about them in this language. Right. Just trying to sort out my OBS. You probably all see each other. So the first thing we do is we get the last season scores from the actors history table. So we want to get the last season, or well, the last year. Cannot type today. This is, I know I keep saying it, but this is where it kept tripping me up, things like this. So I'm not gonna get anything from that, no. So if we even just say we do 2006, 2000, what about 2024? I put in my previous query. Yeah, we're not going to get a lot from that. The difficulty is that in here, yeah, in here we're not going to get a lot of data. That's fine, we'll worry about that later. As well as that, we want to get the historical data. So we want to get, So let me put this back to 2023, 2023. So if we just move this out of here for now, or if we just do this run this select. You can see there's quite a few in here, so that's all good. Then the next thing we need to do is get this year's data, and this year's data is going to come from the actors table. So one of the things that sorry, I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. I'm okay. I'm okay. One of the things that we can do is this year's data as select star from actors where current year equals 20. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to delete some of the data. Yeah, actors films. (2021). Okay, that's fine. So I'm gonna just change the data here where I do it in insert. I'm gonna do delete from actors, and I'm just going to populate the last 5 years. 15. I think that's just for some reason going a bit weird. That's fine. leave that like that for now. And then I'm just gonna pull that out. Then I'm going to delete from and then we're going to change that to 2000. And I'm going to just make sure anyone's checking. Hello. And then now we should be able to do our query for here. If I do this, where 20, yep, and then historical data, where it's 20, and then the end date is less than 2020. We should have some data there. And then this year is where it's 2021, so we should have some data here. Okay, we need to populate this year now as well, actually. So change now to 20 and 2021. Run. Yep, let's put that in there. And then we should now have some data in here. Perfecto. Cool, and then now we should be able to incrementally combine these two tables together. So we now need to verify which records are unchanged. So we then basically do a search on where the last year and this year are the same. But first of all, let's just do a regular select. And join, so we want to do a join. Then we want to do last year as OI, where on this year.actorID equals last year.actorID, where ts.qualityClass equals ly.qualityClass, and is active equals is active. And then we also want to make sure we're selecting the other things. So I can't spell that word, coalesce. As ID. Don't you think it looks wrong? That word looks wrong to me. I'm sorry, but it does. To be fair, we don't want to coalesce that. We want to have start date. And then we want to have the current year as end date. I can't spell. So you can now see, like, we get the last result of unchanged records. So these things haven't changed. So if these things haven't changed, then these are all the results that haven't changed. And then we also want to find the ones that have changed. So these are unchanged records. And then once we've done this, we get our unchanged records, we get our change records. So we want to do select. Just do the actor ID again. And then we want to do the, like, we need to get both rows. So we need to get the rows from the previous and the rows from the current. So we then can do an unnes, and this is where we start using the like actors SCD type here, because we can then use that to create a an array with two, like, values in to compare them. Just using that so I can use it as a reference. And then, so this is, we're just, you know, getting the same row as last year, but we also need to get the current year, but the current year doesn't have a start date and an end date, it just has the current year, so it's just going to be the current year for both of them. So it's going to be here, it's going to be current year. And same here. And so we don't have to, like, we don't have to get the start date and end date, because it is if it's changed, then the current year is the start date is gonna be the current year, and then the end date is gonna be the current year. That's just how it's going to be. And then the previous year is going to have the start date and the end date as the previous year. That's, oh my god, that sounded like I was really like, you know, explaining that like I was, yeah. I don't think you're dumb, I promise. And then from this, we can then do from this year data, and then we want to join last year's data. And then on the actor ID, so we want to make sure that we're always joining the actor ID. Where the two don't equal, so we want to make sure that we're only doing it when quality class does not equal the quality class. Actually, we only need to do a left join here, I think, I'm pretty sure, because we're only getting change records here, so a left join should suffice because we only care about values that previously existed that have changed, so a left join is absolutely fine. Bye. Okay, that's fine. And then that should be, oh no, it's an or, it's not an and, it's an or. So we're basically saying, get us all the previous records that will join to our table that match on actor ID where quality class and is active do not equal. Me and those bloody semicolons, those bloody commas, I mean, I am. And then we've got this now, we've got all these rows where we've got this, but we need to then split these things out. So we then need to say, okay, well, we're gonna create unnested change records. So this is with select, and then we can then create change records. We can then basically map all of these things out. Oh my god, my back's hurting. So now we're just basically making these their own columns. And so you can see that they've all been split out now. And then the last thing to do, like, is just get any new records. So any records that haven't had previous values. So this is now the unnested change records as just seeing if anyone's messaged me. No. So now we can do a new record. So select ts.active actor ID from this year data and then we can do a left join again. On equals actor ID where actor ID is null, and then we can just select all the things we want. And like, this is where I got my A minus. You know, I was mentioning earlier I got an A minus because I put this as start year instead of end start date. Like, that's, and then as soon as I corrected it to start date, then I got the like A. But yeah, don't be like me. Follow the rules even when the rules don't make sense if you want to get your grade. So as you can see, there's lots here that started in 2021, and so I am going to do a new records as and then the last thing to do is to basically like union everything together. So select star from and yeah, that is pretty much the entire homework basically. That's all I need to do. I think for the last one I didn't need to insert them into the table, just because ideally you want to do merge, but it just wasn't specified in the homework. The query was just specified, so I left it at there. But I could also add the current year as well. But yeah, that is pretty much everything that I did to get the different values. I'm just going to do order. Yeah. So you can see all the new values are there. And that was everything really for the homeworks. Yeah. Yeah, I felt like I really overcomplicated the first one. So if I just go to my dataexpert.io, oh, if anyone wants to, you can go to Jade as well to join me if you want to join the Data Engineering Bootcamp. I'm going to be doing the paid version as well. But if we go to the lessons, and we go to the free bootcamp, it's not the lessons, it's the assignments. You can see I got an A here, and it gives you some nice feedback. It gives you like some details on what you could do. So you're using lag and change indicator logic to track changes in quality cat. The aggregation and summarization of data into start and end dates are comprehensively done. Ensure the queries comply with any performance requirements, especially with large data sets. And then the approach uses structured types effectively. Consider setting up automated checks or logs to detect discrepancies during the transition between years. The SQL provided demonstrates a strong understanding of both basic and advanced SQL concepts such as types, window functions, and SUD management. Queries are complex yet well structured. Make sure to comment on complex logic to improve maintainability. Consider indexing frequently used columns to improve query performance such as actor ID and year, and ensure that future queries formulations remain scalable as the dataset grows. So I thought that was nice little summary of the file that I submitted, so I was pretty happy with that. And then that is the homework. Should I create a new live stream for the lab 3 or the lecture 3, or should I continue on this one? I will start a new stream based on the lack of responses, then post that on LinkedIn as well. Just say that I'm starting a new stream for lecture 3. Cool. Right, I will see you on there. I'm gonna get a new drink and then start over. It's been a long session. I've done a lot of talking, and hopefully the next session I won't be doing as much talking, so that's good. So yeah, I'll see you on that one. Bye.